Hey guys, welcome back. Now, um, I'm actually this is gonna be the first video of a new series of videos that I'm going to cover based on the Demon Slayer anime from 2020 to 2024. And the reason I decided to do this is because basically the series itself is coming to an end with a set of 3 movies. I already saw the first part of the movie trilogy in the theater once, so I figured why not do the series since it's also on Netflix? Might as well do it. I decided to do this since I got my Netflix finally working again. Anyway, before I actually get into it, I will mention that this is a character bio video just for the main characters, and I also want to explain how I'm gonna do this series. You see, the seasons in the show are categorized by different arcs, and each arc has a set amount of episodes and everything. So, what I might do is for each arc that I finish, I will cover in a set of videos, depending on how many episodes are in the arcs. And then when I get to the Infinity Castle movie trilogy, that's when I'm gonna pause the series because I'm gonna wait until after, well, the movies are like the first one's already out, but the second one isn't, and they plan to do the penultimate series as like up to the series as like a set of movies. So I might do each of the movies separately on a streaming service. Like I have Plex, so I can see if I can have Trevor put it on Plex for me to watch it. Whatever. Anyway, I'll get into it. Like I said, this is just a character bio video. I am sorry this started off like 2 minutes, but I just wanted to get that out of the way first.
You're going this next weekend or this weekend?
I think. Can we not talk about this while I'm doing the video? We can talk about this after.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, this first video is just gonna be a character bio video and explaining some of the characters and stuff, like main characters and the antagonists and stuff like that. And then after this video, I'll do maybe 2 sets of videos a week, just because the first season is very long. It's 26 episodes. So if I do 2 videos a week at a time, 2 or 3 videos a week at a time, I should be able to get through it faster. Anyway, now I'm just gonna do the characters that are part of the main cast and everything. So I'm gonna start with Tanjiro. Now, basically, in the anime, Tanjiro is, well, he's a member of a small family that basically they live in this snowy area, and he has some siblings and stuff, and he's basically the main focus of the anime. Basically, what I say by main focus is he's one of the main characters of the anime and stuff. Anyway, and he's he doesn't start off as what's known as a demon slayer at first, because at first he's just a member of his village and his small family. But that's when he comes upon a tragedy. What I mean by a tragedy is, he comes home one day in the very first episode. I will explain this more in detail later, but since when I do the first episode, I just wanted to do it as part of his backstory. He comes back home and he finds all his family basically killed, except for his younger sister Nezuko, who's survives it, but she's turned into a demon basically, and basically that sets Tanjiro down the path to become what's known as a demon slayer and everything. And during this process, he also meets other members of the Corps and everything, like, and he takes part. And basically the whole reason why Tanjiro joins them is so he can cure his sister of her demonic form, basically. Anyway. Oh, now that I brought up the demon thing, I will explain. The demons in the Demon Slayer anime, they for some weird reason in the show, they only show up at night. I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why. It's because sunlight, apparently, it has a adverse effect on them. It burns them to ash, so that's why they only come out at night. Anyway, Tanjiro becomes a demon slayer after his family is killed by a demon, and like I said, his sister's turned into one. And then basically after that, he joins them to basically hunt demons in order to cure his sister. And that leads him to basically the main antagonist of the entire anime, a demon by the name of Muzan Kibitsuji. But I will explain more about him when I get into the actual episodes. But I just thought I'd bring it up now since I mentioned it. Anyway, the other three main characters, there's 4 main characters that are shown in the series, and the others are the Hashira that show up later in the first season. Anyway, so I'm not going to cover those ones, but I will cover the ones that are part of the starting portion of the main cast where the anime starts off. Anyway, now I'm going to explain about Tanjiro's sister Nezuko, basically. Basically, because of the incident, where their family is entirely slaughtered. Oh, before I get to that, I should explain should explain that Tanjiro did survive, but I won't go into detail in this video, but I will go into more detail about it when I do the actual video for the first episode. I just wanted to get that out of the way in the first, before I continued. Anyway, Nezuko is the only one besides Tanjiro that survives their family's slaughter at the hands of a demon. But she doesn't come away from it completely unscathed, basically. And by completely unscathed, I won't go into spoilers since I'm going to cover that in the next video, but I just wanted to bring that up. I'll go into more detail when I get to that point. Anyway, at first, when Tanjiro joins the Demon Slayer Corps as a member of their corps, basically, like I said, the type of techniques he uses are breathing techniques, and the only breathing techniques he knows how to use at first are water breathing techniques, which is anyway, but I'll get into more detail about that later on. Anyway, now that basically is it for covering Nezuko and Tanjiro. Now I'm gonna get into the other 2 main characters that get introduced in the first season that are a part in the first arc that are a part of the series. But before I continue with Zenitsu, I should mention this. Even though Nezuko gets turned into a demon after the events of the first episode, she basically gets reprogrammed. And I will explain what I mean about that when I get to the episode where it mentions it. I just thought I'd bring it up since I figured I'd backtrack to her character bio anyway. But anyway, Zenitsu is another person that Tanjiro meets on his journey to become like a demon slayer, basically to help his sister because he's trying to cure her of her demon affliction, and so he joins the Demon Slayer Corps to be a part of that, basically. And he meets Zenitsu during final selection. Now I'm gonna get into a little bit about Zenitsu. This is the funny part about the anime. At first, he starts off as like a crying kid, but when you get to the later seasons, like the fourth and final season for the anime that they do TV-wise before the movies, his demeanor changes. I will explain more about that and the reason for that when I get to the final televised season that's on Netflix. I figured I'd bring that up now before I continued. Anyway, the type of breathing techniques that Zenitsu uses is called thunder breathing, which normally has 6 forms, and water breathing basically has 11, I think. If I'm remembering correctly, it's 11 for water breathing and 6 for thunder breathing. And Zenitsu is blonde, but he wasn't originally that color. Basically, I guess I could explain it since it has to do with his origin. This is a funny bit, but basically what happens is he's in a tree once because he's scared because he's being, before I continue, Zenitsu was trained to be a Hashira by a former Hashira who he also thought of as like an adoptive father, basically, named Jigoro, and I will get into more detail about Jigoro when I do the actual series. Anyway, but I will explain now why his hair... Well, actually, I'll explain why his hair is blonde when I get to the episode that has to do with it. But anyway, the type of breathing that Zenitsu uses is known as thunder breathing, and this is the sad part of the anime. For the entire televised series of the anime, you find out that he can only use first form thunder breathing, and not the other 6, basically. But that changes, and I'm not gonna go into spoilers because I haven't gotten to season 4. And, well, actually, I will mention this, for most of the series up until the events in season 4, he acts a little scared, but I'm not going to explain about why his mood changes in season 4 until I get to that. I just wanted to bring it up. Anyway, he can only do first form thunder breathing, basically, and there's 6 forms, but he can only do the first one, so basically he mastered the most basic one. Now, basically that covers everything for Zenitsu, without getting into, I just mentioned a little bit of what happens in season 4, because in the 4th and final televised arc that's on Netflix, I mean, because the actual 2 final arcs are the Infinity Castle and Sunrise Countdown, which I know they're doing as like maybe like a set of movies or something. Anyway, that basically covers Zenitsu, and now I think I will talk about the last main character actually there's a couple of characters, but there are only technically 4 main characters that I'm covering in this video. The rest of them I will cover, plus the antagonist of the series, basically. The others I will cover in separate videos when I get to the episodes where they're introduced. Like, I'll do a separate segment of a video to explain the demon that they're fighting in that. Anyway. Anyway, the last of the three main characters for the Demon Slayer anime that gets introduced is known as Inosuke. Now Inosuke is actually a bit of a funny character in a sense. He kind of it's kind of weird because when I first watched the series on Netflix and when I watched the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie, I didn't know because of his appearance whether he was a boy or girl, but it seems I'm assuming he is a boy because of the way he talks and everything. But that's not the weird thing I mentioned about him. When he uses his two swords to fight, he also wears a boar mask on his head. Oh my god. And I will say this. Oh my god. He has a habit of mispronouncing Tanjiro's name for whatever reason. Anyway, and the form of breathing that he uses is basically called beast breathing, and when he uses his beast breathing techniques to fight, instead of the word form that's in them, it's switched to fang because of the beast type of art. Anyway, now the last, actually I covered basically all four of the main characters with that, but now I will explain who the main antagonist of the series is. Now there are multiple antagonists in the Demon Slayer anime in each of the different arcs, but the overarching one, the head demon who basically controls the others, is basically goes by the name Muzan Kibitsuji, and his blood is the only one that can turn a human into a demon, basically. And basically he controls the other demons basically with fear, and I'm not going to explain what the consequence of that fear is, but I will say this, that the demons can't say his name, otherwise they'll get punished severely, and I'll explain what that severe punishment is when I get to the 9th episode. I just wanted to bring it up anyway. But anyway, aside from Muzan, there are other demons that are kind of powerful in their own right, but each of the demons that the Demon Slayer Corps, each of the tough demons that the Demon Slayer Corps fights are known as moon rank demons. Like there's lower rank, like lower moon demons and upper moon demons basically. And the upper moon demons are the ones that are the strongest of the demons. Well, to a degree, the upper moons are the strongest because it depends on their rank, basically. The lower rank demons are basically the ones that are the weakest, the easiest to take out. And apparently, for some reason in the anime, all the demons have an aversion for sunlight. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just a plot thing or something. But I will get into mentioning about it, and I will explain more about the upper moon demons probably when I do the next arc, because I'll do a character bio for the next arc before I cover the arc in full, because there's an upper moon demon that shows up in that one, so I figure I'll do a separate video to explain who that upper moon demon is, but I won't exactly explain his backstory until I get to doing the movie segments, because it's because his backstory is not explained until that point. So that's what I mean is that. Anyway, that is probably going to be it for this video, guys. But I will start doing the first arc of videos for this series, probably on the weekend and stuff like now, and stuff, if I have time, or maybe on another day when I have more time to do it. I just wanted to do this one as a very quick one, get it over with and out of the way. But until my next video, which will cover episode 1 of Arc 1, guys, take care and have a nice day. Peace.